Trump tells reporters it's none of your business what he tells Putin.
Here's a summary of the article.
President Trump, asked by a reporter if he'll bring up election meddling with Russian President Vladimir Putin when he meets with him this week, replied, "I'll have a very good conversation with him. What I say to him is none of your business." As he departed the White House for his trip to Asia, Mr. Trump also expressed optimism about progress on a humanitarian border aid bill. "We are moving along very nicely with a bipartisan bill in the Senate," he told reporters at the White House. "If we had the right laws," he said, "those people wouldn't be coming up, they wouldn't be trying to come to the U.S." Mr. Trump is leaving for Japan and South Korea, where he'll meet with other world leaders at the G20. There, Mr. Trump is expected to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping and Putin, among other world leaders. On Tuesday, Mr. Trump threatened the obliteration of parts of Iran if it attacks anything belonging to the U.S. Mr. Trump authorized new sanctions against Iran's supreme leader and a cyber attack on Iran after Iran shot down a U.S. drone last week. Iran's very ignorant and insulting statement, put out today, only shows that they do not understand reality, Mr. Trump tweeted Tuesday morning. Mr. Trump's schedule was pushed back Wednesday, as he spoke to a supportive crowd at the Faith and Freedom Coalition conference in D.C. Mr. Trump arrives in Osaka, Japan, Thursday night for the G20 summit and a host of sideline meetings. Then on Saturday he flies to Seoul, South Korea, to meet with South Korean President Moon Jae-in.
This post received a score of 51,263, with an upvote ratio of 86%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Greater than China has been paying us billions and billions of dollars. Until I got here, they never paid this country 10 cents, for fuck's sake. I wish that reporters would call him out on this. China isn't paying for shit, at least not directly. It's the mainly American importing companies who are paying for these tariffs. And, in order to maintain profits, those companies are pushing those costs to the American consumer via higher prices for goods.
I really don't think he understands that tariffs are taxes that are imposed to financially disincentivize buying imported materials, goods to reduce foreign market share by making imports more expensive than domestic equivalents, and that they are not taxes that are paid by foreign companies selling their goods at fixed prices. The extra cost gets passed on to domestic producers and consumers. That means that he's essentially burdened job creators with an extra tax on raw materials, and therefore is strangling many small manufacturers out of existence. What's worse is that China produces cheap goods, so really these tariffs affect the buyers of cheaper goods. They are effectively a poor tax.
I was listening to a podcast where they interviewed a farmer who almost went broke because of the tariffs. He said he didn't like them but still thought they were a good idea, that Trump was doing the right thing, and he prayed to God it would all work out in the end before he loses his farm.
As the poor citizen had his face eaten by the leopard, he said to the reporter, "I'm not the biggest fan of having my face eaten, but I voted for it, so I'm praying to God it's over before my whole face is gone."
The country didn't learn after the shitshow that was the Iraq War. They sure as fuck are not learning now.
Problem is a lot of people live politics the same way they live their favorite sports teams. Who changes teams because this year is playing bad?
It is literally their business.
And the business of every U.S. citizen. Like, the fuck is he thinking? Oh, right.
Lol, what he does and says literally affects everyone on the fucking planet. This may come across arrogant, but it really isn't. The United States have their hands in nearly every fucking country. So yeah, people give a shit.
Why should the world or citizens of the U.S. be informed? It's not like we have constitutional amendments intended to ensure there's a well-informed populace. Ooh. Never mind.
Greater than constitutional amendments. Are you telling me there are amendments other than the Second Amendment they keep shoving down our throats?
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.